Welcome to the InSession Film podcast for September 15th, 2013. This is episode 30, and I'm JD Duran.
And I'm Scott Pollard.
And Nate Parsons is off to Adventureland this week, so he will not be joining us, but I'm sure we'll have a fun story for you next week as far as his absence goes. But he is having a good time this weekend, I know that for sure. But we have no guests this week, but we do have a couple of fun guests lined up over the next few weeks, which I'm really excited for. We had a great guest last week with Fox from Geek Scholars Movie News. We had a couple of great emails throughout the week, Scott, that was just terrific. A lot of feedback where people just loved him coming on the show. Yeah. They've been completely gracious with us and have been amazing as far as their support, so we really appreciate everything that they're doing for us. But yeah, he was a lot of fun. And on the show this week, we're going to be talking about Insidious Chapter 2, and we're going to be discussing the best and worst movies of the summer this year, which should be a lot of fun. A lot of people are saying that this summer was very disappointing. Maybe it wasn't quite as good as the last couple of years have been. And I guess I would agree with that a little bit on the blockbuster front, but I think it was a lot better than people thought, and we'll get into that more later. And we're also going to continue our football movie series with the 1999 film Any Given Sunday. And then I'm super excited for our extra film segment this week, and where Scott and we're going to review Blackfish, and I'm really pumped for that. If you haven't seen that documentary, try to find it if you can. I know it's not in a whole lot of theaters, but if you can find it, it's amazing. I would highly recommend it. But before we get into everything this week, Scott, how was your week?
My week was really good, man. I had a good week at work, and I got to watch some movies and go hang out with some friends. So it's been a good week. How about you?
I had a really good week, too. It was very busy. Had some issues with Nate, which was pretty fun. But I feel like this week I was a little bit lazy this week. I was just a little bit more relaxed and chill. It was just kind of nice.
Yeah, it happens, man. It's nice to have those kind of weeks sometimes.
Yeah, it was good. And I went up to Ann Arbor, Michigan yesterday for the Michigan game. And wow. If you're a football fan, I'm sure you're aware that my Wolverines almost lost to the worst college football team in FBS, but it was still an exciting game, and the end was incredible.
Great game to watch, and to go along with our movie series review today, on any given Saturday, any team can win or lose, so, never know.
That is a really great point. And that's true. And we at Michigan have had that happen before, and it definitely would have been Appalachian State-esque if we would have lost that game. But I went with my brother, and we had amazing seats, and it was a lot of fun. I got a little sunburnt, but it was fun. It was good. And a win is a win.
Absolutely. And I would never pull for Michigan, but since I knew you were there yesterday when I was watching the game, I was like, okay, I got to pull for them. I can't let them lose to Akron.
Yeah, not to Akron. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, I appreciate that. That's probably why we got the win.
Oh yeah.
All right. Well, we have a lot of fun stuff up on the show, so let's get into it.
And here we go.
You're listening to the InSession Film podcast. This is episode 30. Scott, there's someone standing right behind you.
No, that's just your life-size poster of Miley Cyrus.
What's wrong? What's the matter? You can tell me. I had a bad dream. Okay. Sorry. What was it about? I was in my bed sleeping. Grandma walked in. I could see someone else in my room.
Please don't leave us again.
Grandma,
Mm-hmm.
there's someone standing behind me. I tried to wake myself up. It took a while, but I did it. I heard voices in the hallway.
You got to go. You have to go.
It was Daddy,
You have to.
and he was talking to someone.
You have to go.
Is there something wrong with Daddy, Mom?
All right, Insidious Chapter 2 is directed by James Wan and stars Patrick Wilson, Rose Byrne, and a few other people as well. Well, first of all, I will say a life-size poster of Miley Cyrus is scary as hell.
Yes.
Before we get into this.
That may be more scary than these movies, actually. Depends on what she looks like, I guess.
Okay, yeah, exactly. Especially nowadays.
Yeah.
But what did you think about Insidious Chapter 2?
Although I will say, if you had a poster of Hannah Montana, that might be scarier.
That'd be worse.
Anyway, speaking of things that are scary, I had never seen the first Insidious, so I went up to Louisville to one of the XD theaters that Cinemark has, and they had a double feature, which went pretty well. They actually started to play the second one first. So we got about 5 minutes into the movie, and they were like, because I had never seen the first one, so I was just like, "Oh, this is strange. It's starting off kind of weird." And
let's go backwards.
Yeah, but they were really good. They came out and gave us free passes for movies and stuff like that, so it was nice. Anyway, I didn't know what to expect really, because I've heard a lot of mixed reactions about the first Insidious. I actually enjoyed it quite a bit. So going into the second one, I felt like, this was an opportunity to build on what the first one was. I enjoyed Patrick Wilson a lot. It reminded me a little bit of The Conjuring. I felt like definitely I could tell that James Wan had done this film, because not just of him, just how he's written and how he acts and stuff like that. He's directed the same way. I liked Rose Byrne a lot in both movies. I liked Barbara Hershey a lot in both movies, and I had not seen her since Black Swan, so that was kind of cool to see. And I don't know. I think it's a fine franchise, and I think we'll see several more of them. And so, I'm fine with it as long as they don't drag it out like Saw. How about you?
I am a little bit mixed on Insidious Chapter 2. Like you, I like the first one a lot better, and it got a 66% on Rotten Tomatoes the first time around. Patrick Wilson is amazing in this film once again, and one thing that you're kind of touching on is he did The Conjuring just a few months ago, and you're going into this movie, which is a lot of the same type of elements, quite honestly. And when I was going into the theater, when it was just getting started, I kind of had that thought of, I almost feel like I'm going into the same environment, same type of movie. And it was in a lot of ways. And when I was watching his camera work mixed with his sound elements and just kind of the way that he was trying to bring in these scare tactics, all of that was almost verbatim the same from The Conjuring in a lot of ways. Now, the story is obviously very different. The way that he goes deeper into the story here is very different. And that's the part of this movie that I think will determine whether you like this film or take you out of it. But before we get into that, I just want to say, in terms of his camera movement and his sound elements, though, that I did enjoy. And I really like how he does that. It was one of my favorite parts about The Conjuring. I think it's one of the reasons why it was so effective, is because he's good at this type of stuff. It's why Saw was so good, is because of the same type of stuff. He knows how to interweave sound extremely well, or the use of non-sound extremely well. Like, he's really great at that, and he's really creative with using his camera in a lot of ways to build suspense too, and sometimes even surprise you with some of that stuff. Like, there's one moment where the camera kind of it pans to the left and zooms at Rose Byrne's character, and then like almost immediately For the entire version of our podcast, be sure to subscribe to us on iTunes or on Stitcher, or check us out online at InSessionFilm.com.